Hey guys, Saf coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So today we have a Heroes Path event that has dropped, and actually I was caught off guard. There's a guaranteed champion in this Heroes Path event. So we're going to look at the math breakdown of this video. We're going to look at, should you even bother for Tutora Rimehide? Is it even good? And then we're going to look at what you will need to do in order for you to be able to get all of these different types of rewards. It's a little bit complicated, this path, because there's lots of different routes to go. But just as a start of this video, because it caused a lot of confusion last time in the last Heroes Path, if you want to get the Tutora, you do not need to go down these side paths. You do need these event keys, but you do not need the rare book to get to this tier 2 stone. You can literally go straight down the middle, get to your event keys, and forget the sides. If you just want the legendary book, you do not need to do these side paths at all. You can go down the middle bit here to this tier 2 stone and then pick either of these rewards. So getting to the legendary book is much better because you can pick yourself up a tier 2 soul stone, a tier 1 soul stone, and a couple of gems and energy, and then pick the epic book to the legendary book. So it's around about, 14,000 here, and then just these middle rewards. So you don't have to get all the other crap. So let's talk about first whether or not Tutora Rimehide is worth it. So Tutora is a high elf legendary, was last year's Christmas fusion. So interesting that we have it this time, around Christmas. He was basically the answer to a lot of Bommel and Hydra issues. He brought a perfect veil on a 4-turn cooldown for 2 turns on every champion, so you could use him in Hydra to deal with the Head of Torment, which feared you if you didn't have a Shamael or you didn't have Perfect Veil out there. Also gave himself a chunky shield based on the damage he dealt, so a bit like a miscreated monster style thing, but just for himself. You also had this passive that whenever he was attacked, he'd reflect freeze back to the attacker. That's mostly in arena, but it's on such a low chance. The reflect damage is going to be pretty low anyway. He then has a 3-turn cooldown when booked, block debuffs and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns, and then an A1 which placed on 100% chance decrease accuracy. This is why he was a Bommel solution, because he was one of the best decrease accuracy champions in the game when they released him. So you had a Hydra solution, you have a Bommel solution. Obviously you need a team to build around him if you're going to go the decrease accuracy and resist route, but that was the way you could go with him. Defense based, really high HP, decent base speed, doesn't look anything like a high elf. I don't really know why he's in here as a high elf, but he is apparently. Looks pretty beastly. Is a solid champion if you don't have a good Veil champion. If you are lacking a Duchess, if you are lacking a Rector Drath, this is a pretty good solution for the Hydra Torment Head. So that's what you need to consider. Do you need him? Now, for me personally, it's very, very tempting because I already have one because I did the Christmas fusion. And I am on 8 out of 10 of my faction guardians. So another Tutora would give me 2 Arbiters worth of plus 10 speed, Alessandra plus 10 speed. Now, speed isn't all as it used to be. Speed in the high-end arena meta is a lot worse. But for most Gold 5, it's still pretty relevant, I guess. And for most Tag Team Arena. So for me, it's a very interesting discussion as to whether or not I can get Tutora, whether I go to it. In terms of your different options of your paths, you got some bonus stuff at the top here. These rarity charms, you can pick them up if you want. You can pick them up if you don't want. Considering the cost of Tutora, I would imagine you won't pick that up. You got some soul stones over here, soul coins over here. These again are optional. This path down here is completely optional. I would not bother with these soul chaos ores. I think they're very expensive for what you get out of them. You do need the event keys. It's pretty good to get like a tier 2 essence, and you also get a tier 3. You could decide just to get to the tier 3 soul stone and forget about Tutora if you don't want him and look at some legendary books. Lots of flexibility in this path. So it is a summons and leveling up path. The points have not changed from the previous Heroes paths, so the same principles apply. Void shards are better than any shard in terms of accessibility for this event. You get more bang for your buck on a Void shard than you do a Sacred shard or an Ancient shard. Champion training is the same as well, and we have the math breakdown in terms of how much you kind of would need to do all these things. So that has not changed either. These essences I still feel are very expensive. 4,000 coins for 2 essence. That does feel very expensive. So let's do a bit of a math breakdown then. Let's have a look at what you will need to be able to complete this path event. So in total, we have 181,700 points requirements in order to get everything from the path. If you want to get every single reward, that's how many coins you're going to need. I basically set this up as a middle path, a side 1, side 2, and some bonus points. But I've had to sort of manually calculate 4 different paths you might want to take in order to do an assessment on it. So in terms of coin acquisition, purely based on summoning, how many shards you're going to need. So I've set up 4 different paths effectively. I've set up the path to get to Tutora. So this is the least amount of coins you need to spend to get to Tutora Rimehide. I've set up a path that gets you the least amount of coins to get to a tier 3 Soulstone, which is that Eternal Soulstone. One of the best, it is the best way to get high-end souls in the game. And then I've set up 2 different paths. One if you want a single book, and one if you want both legendary books. So we can see a single path to a book, one legendary book, is about 5 sacred shards. So if we think of what a summon rush would normally have, it has that row at around about 4,500. We used to call it the Kraken row. I mean, it's a bit more now. It's probably about 5,000. You'd need to hit 5,000 points to pick up your first legendary book. That is around about 500 points per sacred. So you're talking 10 sacreds before you get a legendary book. Well, here you can do it in half the amount of time. So I actually think even like 21 voids, I said void shards are the best way to get hero coins here. 21 void shards for a single book. Obviously, we haven't got any void events on, so pulling voids for this is a bit dumb. But as a concept, 21 void shards gets you a legendary book. It's actually quite decent. That's before we even consider any sort of champion training. If we want the Tutora, we're looking at 27 sacred shards. Now, everyone will know that 20 sacred shards was a bit of a controversial thing with Elva for a guaranteed summons event. Now, I would say you can't really do a 1-to-1 ratio here because you are getting rewards along the way. You are picking up soul stones, you're picking up some energy, some gems. Not a lot, but the soul stones do add a lot of value or cost to this kind of particular path. So we can't really do a 1-to-1. Is 27 sacred shards steep for Tutora? I would say yes. It is quite a lot. If you can offset it against some void shards and some training, it might be better, but that is a lot of sacred shards you're going to be pulling. Now, some people might be pulling 27 sacred shards anyway because they've saved up for the ×2 event and they're going all in. If that's the case, you get a bonus legendary. But that is the kind of the reality here. It's 27 sacred shards or 112 voids. Do not factor in ancient shards. It takes way too many. If you want 2 books, 8 sacred shards. Actually, I think, again, very decent. Remember, we said like around 5,000 points. You needed 10 sacreds now on a summon rush to be able to start getting legendary books. You can get 2 here and you're only on 8. You won't even hit the same thing as summon rush. And you're also getting a tier 2 soulstone and a tier 1 soulstone at the same time and some epic books. Those are less valuable. Again, we're not offsetting this yet against champion training. If we just want the tier 3 soulstone, it's about 14 sacred shards. So you can see the Tutora cost is quite high. So in terms of the training math, how do I work this out? This is the same math I've done for previous points totals. We kind of look at the points acquisition for getting a champion from rank 2, partially leveling the food up to a rank 5, or getting it up to a rank 6 and then partially leveling the rank 5s as well. Basically, a single legendary book, you'd need to fully make 1 level 6. So what I mean by that is get a rank 2 into a rank 3, into a rank 4, into a rank 5. We are partially leveling food to level 14 on rank 4 and level 25 on rank 5. We're not partially leveling rank 3s here, so there's probably a more efficient route you can go, but this is just a convenience route for me. This is kind of like what I prefer to do when I'm leveling food. So we're looking at just under 1 rank 6 to be able to get a single book. You'll need to make just under 5 rank 6s and doing all the food. The food is the important aspect here. It's not just make 5 rank 6s and then you get your Tutora Rimehide. It's the food along the way as well. So we've kind of worked this out and we got the energy accumulation. I've got it doing Brutal 12-3 and Nightmare 12-6. Some people have questioned why I do Brutal 12-3 and 12-6. I just think if you're going to go Brutal, you might as well get the extra silver. I know you can get a little bit more extra energy, XP per energy on 12-6, but it's not really worth it in my opinion. So you're looking at around about, to make one of these rank 2 to rank 6s, we need 1 for 1 legendary book, around about 761 Brutal 12-3 runs or 337 12-6. That is with an XP boost on. So we're looking at just the XP boost, but not the Forge Pass or the Raid card, just a single XP boost. That's going to translate into around about 5.4 to 6,000 energy if all you did was champion training. So you can see you kind of already need to offset your goal of being able to get a single book against summoning. Summoning is going to make this a lot easier. I built a calculator here that we can have a look to see what the impact is going to be. As I said, we need 27 sacreds for the Tutora path. And if you wanted to get the Tutora path completely, you would need to burn around about 26,000 energy. So we need less champions on the rank 2 to rank 6 model, but it does cost us more energy to do it that way. It's better to make more rank 5s than it is to make the rank 6 for this particular event. You're looking at one legendary book is about 5,000 energy, which is not the worst thing in the world if you compare it to a normal training event. It's probably a little bit higher than a normal training event. You know, a normal training event is around about, I think the last one was 9,000, which is really good. Normally they put the legendary book these days around about 14,000 training event points. So it's not too bad. It's a little bit higher than what it should be, but it's not too bad. Obviously, if you offset it against a shard, then you can bring that down quite a lot. If you want both books, it's not that much more of an investment. It's about another 3,000 energy here to do that. However, if we were pulling some sacred shards, say like you had 4 sacred shards you wanted to pull, 26,000 energy is the Tutora path at the moment if you want to get the Tutora. 4 sacreds brings that down to 22,000. Doesn't really have a massive impact. It takes 18,000, but what it does do is it brings down your single book requirements quite a lot. So if all we wanted to do was pull 5 sacred shards and get ourselves a legendary book, you would need to burn around about 1,000 energy after you've pulled the 4 sacred shards here. You need a few more coins on the left here. So that's, you know, basically burning to get yourself one of these rank 2 to rank 5s. Now, obviously, void shards are going to be way better here. So if we were only pulling void shards, then putting 10 void shards is going to get me about 11,000, but 20 void shards would get me almost there. So 20 void shards is about 1 legendary, as we know. That is the situation with this path. That is how many points you need. I will, as always, put this up as an Excel document linked in the description of this video, so you guys can sort of make a copy of this on the Google Sheets and kind of put your own shard counter in here to try and work it out, see what you want to do. If you only want to go for one of these paths, just zero out these numbers, and then you can put your void shard counter over here to basically go, you know, I want 4 voids. How many more points do I need? That'll give you an idea. So there is a times 10 on for Harima right now. Now, Harima is a brand new champion that was added to the game. She is a counter to a lot of the high-end arena meta. So if you're an endgame player, you will be wanting this champion. She also deals with a little bit of the Sand Devils nuke, although I don't think that necessarily speeds up the fights. I think other people are going to be finding faster ways. I think Acrizia seems to be the answer for that. She is a solid champion provoke. She can do some crazy things in clan boss with this A2. So it's a really cool champion if you are summoning. It's also a ×2 sacred, right? So I'm going to be pulling my 5 here. I would actually really like the Tatura Rimehide. If anything, I want the tier 3 Soulstone regardless, but I would really want the Tatura Rimehide if I can get it. But it depends on kind of shard counts. I don't want to go all out on my shards right now, considering we've got a fusion around the corner, which is probably going to have something we need for this new dungeon. So I'm going to turn this into a little late shard pulling video. Let's see what we get for my 5 sacreds. I don't really care about anything, I guess. The chances of me getting any meta champions are quite low. Maybe we'll get Harima. I doubt it. Will we even get a legendary? That's the question. Terror Beast. Nobody wants a Terror Beast. We want 3 epics. This is the reality of sacred shards. You can get 5 or 6 and get absolutely nothing. Am I even going to get a legendary? The answer to the question is no. 5 sacreds, no legendaries. What a brutal thing. We're going to pull the 10 voids as well. Voids are really good for this path. So this is going to just boost me along the way towards getting at least the tier 3. My goal personally is get at least the tier 3 because Soulstone's the most valuable thing for my account. We're not going to get anything today from this silly event. But hey, we've got some points. Where does that put us on the path? So we've got 33,000 points. So again, you don't need to go. So my priority is the tier thing. So I still need the event keys, unfortunately, which kind of is a bit disappointing. But the minimum we can go down here, we can get to this. Once you hit this path, you can go either side if you want, or you can go down the middle. Obviously, we need to get the event keys. We need both to unlock it. So we're going to have to go here, 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 and here. We don't need the rare books, but now we can unlock this. Once we've got this, unlock it. So now I am about 30,000 away from my tier 3 stone. So that would be the way I'd need to get some more shards or some training done. 30,000 points. I can go back and use my calculator. I can basically go, I need 30,000 points up here. Just put 30,000 in here. I know it's not the right path. So I'm going to need around about 6,368 energy in a champion training path to be able to get that. So that's quite a big investment. So it looks like getting Tutora for me is probably going to be either spending money, which I don't really want to do, or it's going to require a substantial amount of training, because the remaining path I have left is 40,000 and 60,000. So effectively, I've got 100,000 I need to do to be able to get the Tutora. That is around about 21,000 worth of energy, which is way too much. So we might as well pull the 2 soul stones we've got. What are we going to get? We are still after an Elva Autumnborn. Might as well pull these things while we're here. Probably going to get rares and rubbish. We get an Avere. Nobody wants an Avere. And let's finish off the great RNG summoning with a legendary. It's a walk-in Tomb Drang. Now, some people might be really excited about that. I don't even use walk-in Tomb Drang. I've not even got him built. We have rubbish legendaries in here. A woad painted. Not what we want. So there's only one more thing I do want to add into this video at the end. I know it's a bit of a sidetrack, but I have noticed now that pretty much every tournament reward we're going to get is going to be containing soul coins. So it seems like they've understood when we said that the Iron Twins didn't give enough soul coins, and they supplemented it with lots of events, which I think is great, so long as the reward we lose is potions or a few brews, basically things that we don't really care about collecting a lot. However, this doesn't really solve the underlying problem, which is why we're having to do this, which is the Iron Twin still doesn't give enough soul coins to make it justifiable for the energy investment that a lot of players use outside of Sunday. I feel like there needs to be a better balance here where we still have coins in these rewards, but we also gain more points from the Iron Twins at the same time. We also get more of these coins from the Iron Twins. Lower the reward amount, increase the Iron Twins amount to make it worth our energy investment. Because the more you do this, the more people are going to stop playing Iron Twins, which I think is a bad thing. But I will always go for these extra soul coins because it just gives me more points. These coins here, it just gives me more chances to get soul stones, and it does make the soul system feel better by getting them. Even in the heroes path that we just looked at there, I will probably try and get these 750 and 200 here if I can even get to this tier 3. I got to do a lot of champion training just to get to this tier 3. It's going to be a bit of a grind, but it's only 1,800 points, and that will get me another 750 coins. It's nearly another tier 1 soul stone. So just an observation I've noticed that we're getting a lot more of them. They clearly know that we're not getting enough tier 1 or tier 2 coins from the standard Iron Twins. But there you go, guys. That is the end of the video. As I said, will be going for that Eternal Soulstone. I don't think I'm going to have the shard or really the investment desirability to get a Tutora. It'd be nice to finish off the Faction Guardians, but I'm not going to spend loads of money for it. After Black Friday, we need to take a level down on the spending. Let me know what you guys think of this hero pass. Are you upset about it? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you have the Sacred Shard saved up? Are you going for Tutora? I will be releasing a video later today, hopefully on the patch notes breakdown. If it doesn't make it out today, it will be tomorrow. It's a pretty chunky patch. But until that video, guys, I will catch you in the next video.